Hi, this is Robert Evatt, tech reporter for the Tulsa World. I'm actually coming to you from my office at home since I have just gotten the iPhone 4S, like a lot of you, just a few hours ago, and I've had a chance to play with it a little bit. Fortunately, FedEx came through for me. Anyway, I'm here to tell you what's new, not just with the new iPhone, but with the new changes to iOS 5, which is also pushed to other iPhones like the 3GS and the 4. The other iPhones aren't supported. So without further ado, let's see what's new with iOS 5, which I will use on my iPhone 4. So now, one of the biggest things here is the new notification center. The way iPhones behaved in the past is that if you got a text message, you'd get this big obtrusive pop-up, and the same thing with phone calls and notifications from apps, like if you got a new move in Words with Friends or things like that. Then you'd have to go to the individual place to hunt for them. Well, Notification Center changes that. Now when you get text, instead of a big pop-up, you get a very unobtrusive notification at the top that doesn't get in the way, just lets you know that it's there. And then when you want to go to the Notification Center itself, you just simply swipe down and it pulls it up. I don't have any notifications in here, but if I had texts or phone calls or things like that, it would go in here. It's also combined with the local weather. It's location aware, so it'll tell you the local weather wherever you are, and a stock ticker. Hopefully Apple will add a few more bits of information on there. I think it could be handy. It'll also let you know calendar appointments and reminders and things like that. It's a lot similar to what Android has right now, but it works quite well. It's very handy, and quite frankly, it's a little overdue. Now, the second new feature that I really like is the new camera lock screen. You can get to the camera without having to go to the trouble of waking up the phone and fumbling for the camera app, waiting for that to load, and finally being able to take a picture. Instead, you just hit the home button twice rapidly, and you should have an option to hit the camera here, which I will now, and it goes to the camera. Interestingly enough, when you go to the camera from the home screen, it opens up just crazy fast in less than a second, even on the iPhone 4. When you try to go, when you go into the camera the regular way, it still takes a little while to boot up. It's just much faster on the lock screen. I'm not sure why that is, but it's tremendously helpful. And then you have iCloud, which I've just barely been able to mess around with. The theory behind iCloud is that it'll take all the information on your phone, like your contact list, your notes, your apps, just all the data on there, and it'll move it to Apple servers, and then Apple servers will push it to the rest of your devices, like your iPad if you have one, or your Mac or PC connected with iTunes. I noticed this yesterday when I downloaded an app on the go. When I plugged my phone in, I just happened to notice on my computer that my iTunes was automatically downloading the new app I downloaded. In addition to that, you can also sync your phone wirelessly, which again is another overdue feature, and receive system updates wirelessly. So that's another thing that should be very handy in the long run. Now, as far as the iPhone 5 itself, well, here it is. It comes in black or white. I just decided to get white this time. And really, it hasn't changed from the iPhone 4, or sorry, it's not the iPhone 5, it's the iPhone 4S. And really, it hasn't changed from the iPhone 4 at all. The only thing I've noticed that's different is that the mute switch is just slightly lower, which means that you're not going to be able to use an iPhone 4 case. You're going to have to get an iPhone 4S case. So, but what's new in here? Well, the camera has improved. It's now 8 megapixels rather than 5. It's also got some other improvements like an additional lens and additional light focusing that, well, allows it to take much better pictures. I've only messed around with it a day, but it seems to compete with some of the other top-of-the-line smartphones out there, and it's to the point where you can get rid of your digital camera if you wanted to. Beyond that, it's got a much faster processor, or so I've been told, but the problem is that the iPhone 4 is so speedy, it's hard to tell a speed difference in the iPhone 4S. A few things load faster, like the camera outside of the lock screen and things like that, but other than that, it's hard to notice. What is easy to notice is that I'm not sure what Apple did to the internals, but it just loads up data faster on the same network. Even though it's not 4G, it does something that comes close to approximating 4G speeds. It's really amazing. I'll see if I can demonstrate it to you. The reception in this office isn't the best in the world. But I'm going to take the iPhone 4 and have that Google page pop up there. I am going to load up the Tulsa World's website because it's fairly data intensive and takes a while to load. Hopefully you'll be able to see it here. The webcam's not the best in the world. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm hitting it now. It's loading. And see, it's taking a little while to process everything that's going on in the website. Here we go. We're all done. So, okay. iPhone 4S, same network, same company, same speed and everything. It's same, wow, you really can't tell on this webcam, can you? Well, I've got it on Google now. And so let's go up to, pull up the Tulsa World again, and hitting it now. See how long it takes. And it's a bit significantly faster. It's about half to 2/3 the time I've noticed when I test it out. It's and again, it's the same network. I'm not sure how Apple did it, but they did it. It really makes a difference. Now, the final feature that I really like about this is Siri. It's essentially a voice command system for the iPhone. Now, voice commands isn't anything new on smartphones. I mean, you've been able to download voice command apps for a while. Android has voice commands baked in, and even Apple has allowed you to control your iPod through voice commands in the past too. But this system, which is called Siri, is just, it's really unlike anything you've ever seen before. I mean, you can speak to it in your own voice. You don't have to use special set commands to tell it to do things, and it will do just about anything your phone can do and find information for you. So I'm going to try it out a little bit for you. There's two ways to activate it. You can either hold your phone up to your face when you're not on a phone call, or you can press and hold the home button. Then you get this, and then I will start asking it questions. Set an alarm for 8 a.m.
I've set an alarm for 8 a.m.
And it did that. It can also dictate text, things like that. Well, why don't we try to set up a calendar appointment? So let's hit the little button again. Remind me to pick up milk.
When would you like me to remind you?
Tomorrow at 2 a.m.
Here's your reminder for tomorrow at 2 a.m.
I'm not sure why I said a.m. I meant
Shall
p.m.
I create it?
Yes. Whoops, I was speaking over its voice commands, but anyway, it's very handy and sets up things for you. Let's ask it something else. Let's see. I wonder how Apple's doing with the iPhone 4S. What is Apple's stock price?
Checking on its stock. Apple closed at $422 today.
Wow, it's really going up. So, all right, that's some basic stuff. Well, let's see if we can do some more complex things. I'm not really sure where I'd like to go for dinner. I mean, I like Italian, but there's a bunch of nice Italian places here. So why not ask Siri, see what she thinks. Where can I find an Italian restaurant?
I found 10 Italian restaurants. 8 of them are fairly close to you.
And then from there, you can select where you want to go. So, okay, let's say I have a specific thing I want to look for. Let's say I want to go to work, and I've forgotten how to get there. Show me directions for World Publishing Company.
Okay, here's World Publishing Company. It's not far from you.
And there we go. You can't really see it on this webcam, but it's showing me the directions to get there. Okay, but it can also find other things on the web. Let's start asking it some questions. This thing came from China. I'm sure it doesn't really know anything about Oklahoma. Who was governor of Oklahoma in 1950?
Let me think about that. Okay, here you go.
And she found it. Roy Turner. I mean, you can really ask it just about anything. It gets tripped up by some more complex queries, like I asked it what Twinkies are made out of, and she didn't know. No one really knows. And it can't launch apps within the phone, which is a bit of a shame. But other than that, it works fantastic. I mean, even when it didn't know how to process my requests, she understood exactly what I was asking. And the fun part is that the folks at Apple who made Siri have a bit of a sense of humor. People on the web are having fun asking it things and seeing what kind of reactions it has. Here's one of my favorites. What do you think of Android?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I can't answer that.
The last time I asked that, Siri said, I think differently. So there you have it, the iPhone 4S. I mean, Apple's really done a great job on it. I mean, they've made some improvements that have been much needed, and Siri is really fantastic. So if you're inclined to if you're not opposed to anything Apple, it's a really fantastic smartphone, and I definitely recommend it.